Hello, everyone. Good day to all of you. I am your discussant for today, Marilet Manalansan. Today, we're going to talk about the crisis management in education. But before that, let us know first the objectives to be obtained for today. We will understand the seven phases of crisis management in education when it comes to warning, risk assessment, and response by identifying specific areas of concern and provide manageable solutions. So let's start. What is crisis and what is management? Crisis is a stressful situation or set of events that are perceived or experienced as intolerable and unsolvable because the individual's customary coping strategies and problem solving skills are exceeded. And what is management? It is a process of planning, decision making, organizing, leading, motivation, and controlling the human resource, financial, physical, and information resources of an organization to reach its goals efficiently and effectively. Now, let us know what is crisis. Crises are critical problems for organizations and require rapid movements in a non conventional way to control and reduce their effects. Also, they are different from other routine problems that organizations experience in a variety of merits and characteristics and surprise, threat, and short response time. It also refers to the identification of a threat to an organization and its stakeholders in order to mount an effective response to it. And due to unpredictability of global events, many modern organizations attempt to identify potential crises before they occur in order to sketch out plans to deal with them. When and if a crisis occurs, the organization must be able to drastically change course in order to survive. Now let's talk about early warning. Early warnings serve as alerting about potential hazards and discovering the reasons and signals that predict crisis in the stages of latency and formation before its aggravation and destructive. So, it provides immediate information about the imminent occurrence of the crisis using variety of visual, audio, and written media. It helps to identify the dimensions of situations to take the necessary action before it developed further. Also, warning or early warning indicators play a major role in the effective crisis management and can lead to the right action in a timely manner. Decisions related to crisis requires paying attention to those indicators, and the organizations are surrounded by risk that may turn into crisis and develop into disasters, especially in education. Okay. Proper and effective interaction with early warning indicators of crisis requires primarily contentment and assess the extent of the role. Now, how are we going to say that early warning is effective? Let's see. This is the warning effectivity. Early warning is effective when it succeeds in informing the concerned organization about when is the crisis. Also, it needs to be built on a basis of accurate, reliable, up to date, and thoroughly analyzed information. And it establishes channels of good communication and coordination between the relevant authorities. Therefore, when false alarm repeatedly occur, it is an indication that the early warning system is ineffective. However, in case the warning is correct, but it is not taken seriously by the organization, it is pointing to a rationality of its management. The implementation of early warning system aimed to achieve several objectives. So, early warning system for typhoons in the Philippines, managed by Pag-asa, is designed to monitor and alert the public about approaching storms. It uses tropical cyclone wind signals. with specific color codes to indicate the level of danger. Like, for example, signal number one is the color blue. It warns of weak winds that require action, while signal number two, the color yellow, indicates stronger winds that may cause minor damage, and signal number three, orange, signals moderate to heavy damage. Signal number four, red, warns of severe destruction, and the highest alert, signal number five, purple or violet, indicates extreme danger, requiring immediate evacuation. And in addition to wind signals, we have the rainfall warnings and yellow indicator. So rainfall warnings are also issued with indicating heavy rain, and orange warning of possible flooding, and red signaling the life-threatening floods that require urgent action. And these warnings are disseminated through televisions, radio, social media, and text alerts, ensuring that communities receive timely information to prepare and respond effectively. So, why is it important that we have the early warnings? By ensuring the safety of students, the safety of the teachers, and the safety of school facilities during the severe weather conditions. Through timely alerts from Pag-asa, schools can suspend classes, prepare evacuation plans, and secure all the learning materials needed, minimizing risk and disruptions. It also promotes disaster preparedness education as teaching students and teachers how to respond to emergencies effectively by integrating early warning systems into school disaster risk reduction programs. Students develop a sense of awareness, responsibility, and resilience in facing natural disasters. Additionally, preventing damage to schools through early warnings helps maintain continuous learning, and it reduces the long-term impact of typhoons on education. Now let's go to indicators. What are the indicators? Indicators are signs and indicators that are generally used in two main dimensions. First, it's used to monitor, measure, and evaluate the progress towards achieving the objectives of the organization, including the organization's indicators of performance and production. So, indicators key performance are often used by organizations' senior leaders in order to manage, monitor, evaluate, measure, or performs as linked to vision and strategic objectives. Now, we have the risk assessment. Let's understand the role of risk assessment. A critical aspect of any organization, and risk assessment plays a pivotal role in ensuring that crises are managed effectively. In today's fast-paced world, organizations are constantly exposed to myriad of risk, from natural disasters to cyber attacks. And we are facing all of that in our educational system nowadays. Now, what is risk assessment? Risk assessment is the process of identifying, analyzing, and evaluating risk to determine the likelihood and impact of potential threats. Now, let us know the importance of risk assessment. Okay, first, identifying vulnerabilities. By pinpointing weak spots, you can shore up defenses and minimize the likelihood of a crisis. Second is to prioritize resources. Understanding where the biggest risks lie helps you allocate resources more efficiently, and develop contingency plans. With a clear understanding of risk, You can create detailed plans and mitigate their impact. Now, enhance decision making. Informed decisions are better decisions. Risk assessment provides the data needed to make smart choices. Now, we also have here the methodologies for effective risk assessment. There are several methodologies for conducting risk assessment, each with its own strengths and weaknesses. And here are some of the approach. First, we have the qualitative risk assessment. It involves subjective analysis based on expert opinions, historical data, and history trends, and used for understanding the overall risk landscape but lacks the precision of quantitative methods. Now, what is quantitative risk assessment? Quantitative risk assessment, on the other hand, relies on numerical data and statistical analysis to measure the risk. It provides precise estimates but can complex and time consuming. We also have the hybrid assessment. In a hybrid assessment, it combines the best of both worlds, the qualitative risk assessment and the quantitative risk assessment. Okay, this balanced approach is often the most effective for comprehensive risk assessment. Now, what is the step or the process in risk assessment? We have first identifying risk. Use brainstorming sessions, historical data, and industry trends to identify potential risk. Number two, we will analyze the risk. Assess the likelihood and impact of each identified risk. Next, we evaluate risk, wherein we prioritize risk based on their potential impact and likelihood. Next, treat the risk. Implement strategies to mitigate, accept, or avoid risk. Next, monitor and review. We always need to continuously monitor risk and review the effectiveness of risk treatment strategies. Now, what are the tools and techniques for risk assessment? We have risk matrices. These are the visual tools that help prioritize risk based on their likelihood and impact. They are simple to use and provide a clear snapshot of the risk landscape. We also have the risk registers. These are the detailed logs that document identified risk, their potential impact, likelihood, and mitigation strategies. They are essential for keeping track of risk and ensuring accountability. We also have scenario analysis. Scenario analysis involves creating hypothetical scenarios to understand how different risks might play out. It helps in developing contingency plans and preparing for various outcomes. Now, let us know the best practices for risk assessment and crisis management. Okay, first is we will be needing to involve our stakeholders. Engage all relevant stakeholders in the risk assessment process to ensure a comprehensive view. Next, we need to regularly update assessments. Risk evolve over time, so it's crucial to regularly update your assessments. Next, we need to use reliable data. Base on your assessments or base your assessment on accurate and up-to-date data to ensure their validity. Next, we need to communicate the findings. We need to share the risk assessment findings with stakeholders to build awareness and support. And next, we need the case study. The role of assessment is natural disaster. Let's have an example. At Rivera High School, located near a major fault line, school officials had long prioritized risk assessment and crisis management. Their preparedness was tested when a 7.2 magnitude earthquake struck the region during school hours. Thanks to their comprehensive risk assessment and disaster preparedness plan, the school successfully minimized injuries and managed the crisis effectively. So, before the earthquake, the administration had conducted the regular risk assessments, identifying weak infrastructure and reinforcing buildings to withstand strong tremors. Emergency exits were clearly marked, and evacuation routes were regularly updated based on safety evaluations. Every quarter, the school organized earthquake drills, ensuring that students and staffs were familiar with duck, cover, and hold techniques and knew where to go during an emergency. So, when the earthquake struck, the school's early warning system sent out immediate alerts, and teachers quickly guided students on their desks for protection. Once the shaking stopped, the Crisis Management Team or the CMT activated their emergency response plan, and students were led to pre-designated evacuation areas. And teachers conducted headcounts to ensure everyone was accounted for, and the school's first aid team provided immediate assistance to injured individuals, while communication lines with local disaster response units were swiftly opened. Now, we also have tools for our risk management. So, we have first the data accuracy. We have the resource constraints, integrated risk management, and we also have the tools and techniques to use, just like AI machine learning, real time monitoring, and scenario analysis. Now, for this part of the topic, we have now the conclusion that risk assessment is a vital component of effective crisis management. By identifying, analyzing, and evaluating risk, organizations can be better prepared for and mitigate potential crises. Number two, whether using qualitative, quantitative, or hybrid methodologies, the key is to engage stakeholders, use reliable data, and regularly update assessments. Now, after talking about that, let's now go to response. In times of crisis, a leader's response and action often plays a pivotal role in shaping the outcome. The initial hours following a crisis event can be tumultuous, marked by high uncertainty. Three key elements of crisis management response are speed, accuracy, and consistency. Now, responding promptly and adeptly empowers your organization to guide the narrative surrounding the incident. A proficient communication team ensures conveying. In scenarios of high profile crisis, there arises a heightened likelihood for organizational leader or spokesperson to engage with the media. So, what is the crisis management strategy? Instances abound of organizations lacking a crisis management strategy which compromises their brand and high profile leaders, absence during critical junctures, and tardy response yield undesirable outcomes. So, for today's report, here's our references. Again, I am your discussant for today, Marlet M. Manlansan. And with that, I want to share this quote with you all. This is from Benjamin Franklin. He said that by failing to prepare, you are preparing to fail. And in education, we always need to be ready, whether we are the administrative or we are the teacher inside the classroom, because as we know, our first priority is our students. That's all. Thank you so much for listening.